Hello and welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. This is the place where you get to meet remarkable individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds who are making significant contributions to the social, cultural and economic development of Newfoundland and Labrador. Joining us today are Georgine Wally and Nuna Tue, two of the young people who are making a difference in our community, as well as Constable Javon Coley of the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. I have with me today Constable Javon Coley of the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. Welcome. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Right,
thank you very much.
You're
nice
welcome.
to see you too.
Yeah, right. And I want to say thank you as well, because you're one of the essential workers who've been working throughout the pandemic to keep us safe. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate that. Yeah. So I'd like to find out, maybe you can tell us how you decided to become a police officer.
From a younger age, I always wanted to become a police officer. When I lived back home in Jamaica, I was going to school, and as soon as I graduated school, I moved here, and then that just never happened until I moved here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you first moved here, what did you do?
I went to Kona, College of North Atlantic, and I studied Office Administration program, where I specialized in records and information management. And I ended up receiving a job at the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary as an information management technician too. And that's when I started to learn more about policing here, and decided to apply, and now we're here.
Okay, then the rest is history, they say.
Yeah,
so what was the training like?
The training, it's vigorous, it's rough. You're up 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning till 6 a.m. in the evenings, and there's a lot of things to it. Your fitness, we got a lot of classroom training as well. It's not only just running and being out on the street. There's also a lot of information, such as how to deal with the community. The community is changing here as well.
Right,
so we got a lot of courses with how to, deal with people of diverse and stuff like that. But the training is really good. There's a lot to it, and it's really good.
Okay,
yeah.
That's good. So you're a really good police officer.
Really
we could
good.
say.
Yeah. They offer us a lot of tools to prepare you to go out in the field and be able to do your job correctly.
Right. Yeah, because that's important. Yeah. But I could still remember it wasn't probably a little over a year ago when you graduated. We were all sitting and waiting, and then I saw you come out carrying the flag. I kind of wanted to jump, and I was so happy, and I said, oh no, I'm surrounded by police officers, I better not do that. No. But what was that moment like for you?
That's definitely was a life-changing moment. I don't think I'll be able to ever forget that moment. I remember when our sergeant in charge asked who would want to be the flag bearer, the color bearer, and I just knew I would want to do it, and it just worked out really well. And I got pictures, videos that I can look back on for years to come. But I will never forget that moment from a cadet to becoming a constable.
Right, that's right.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and the fact that you were leading all the other graduates, it's like, wow.
It's definitely great. I can reflect now just like it was yesterday.
Yes.
It's definitely life-changing.
Yeah. So in fact, I think that particular year they graduated was the most diverse group they've had since almost 300 years of having the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary here.
Yes, that's right. There was people from several different parts of Newfoundland and also other provinces such as Nova Scotia. There was also another fella that was born and raised in England, and there's many different types of people come together. The class was almost 30 people, and we got to learn about each other, and we graduated as one, and now we're out here serving the community. So it's really nice.
You are doing a great job. So why do you think it's important for the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary to have a diverse group of officers working there?
The community is definitely changing over the past few years, and it's not going to stop.
Right,
There's a lot of attraction here. There's a lot of people coming in, and it's only good. It only means well for the police to change their style as well, to train their officers to be able to communicate and break down those barriers with people coming in. There's a lot of people coming from different places across the world that when they think of police, they only think negative. So we want to be able to reach out to them and build that level of trust. So it's only right for the constabulary to continue to change as well with the community as they are for the community.
Right, yeah, that's
right.
that's really important. So I think someone said that you've made history because you're the first and only Jamaican-born RNC officer.
Yes, it is an interesting fact, but I'll remember it for years to come. It's in papers, it's on the news and stuff. I got copies,
Yes.
and so it is an interesting fact. But we're here for more than we're not going to rely on that or stuck on that. We're here for a bigger purpose, and that's to just serve the community and be there for the community and keep the community safe and continue to evolve with the community and do everything that we can in our power.
Yeah. No, and you're doing a great job, and we really do appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, what are some of your friends back home in Jamaica? What did they say when they heard this?
A lot of people were surprised. It's, as I said, especially with the fact like someone from Jamaica seeing this article. It's definitely different. Like you see most of these things on TV, or you see lots of celebrities across the world, and you wouldn't think, oh, like this Jamaican guy will be the first officer here. So it's definitely different. But they taught well, and they offer encouragement, and a lot of people are also motivated by stuff like this. They believe that they can go out and do whatever they'd like to do for themselves. So it's definitely a positive impact for sure.
Oh yes, definitely, because I think I've always said that if you have a diverse community that you're serving, it'll be nice for that community to see themselves represented, not only in law enforcement but in other agencies and departments as well.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, the community is changing here, and it's really great, and the province is really great. Everything is just going great, and this community is changing, and the people around is changing and accepting the change and loving the change, and it's just great altogether. I can't say anything negative. We just got to keep work towards that.
Because it's all changing for the better.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right.
So if you were going to advise a young person, like I know with China Cultures, we spend a lot of time with youth, and they're all thinking about their careers and what they want to do. How would you advise them if they are interested in going into, the RNC maybe?
I would tell them to do the research. Go on the website, read all about the RNC, familiarize yourself. When I got a job inside the RNC, so I was working closely with officers and stuff like that. So I learned a lot. I got a lot of information there, but there's also great amount of information on the website. There's a lot of outreach programs. We have the RNC has a community service group, but I would go on the website, read all about the website, how to apply, and just believe in yourself. Just put your best foot forward, and if you really want it, you can achieve it. So just go ahead. If you apply and it happens that you didn't get accepted this year, you try again next year. That's just all a part of it. That should be your motivation, and just keep going. There's a lot of people that has applied to the RNC for back-to-back years, 6 years. They didn't get in after their sixth chance, but don't let that keep you down. Just keep going and keep applying, and get your feedback here and there, and if you want it, it will happen.
Right. So how can the RNC maybe try to reach out to the community? Because I know with you, well, you happen to be right there, and
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you transitioned into becoming a police officer. But people who are just outside, I'm thinking high school students. How can the RNC reach out to them, maybe?
Usually when it comes around to the application time, the RNC, they goes to several parts of the province, and they have their information sessions.
Okay.
So it's normally posted on the website as well, or on Facebook, Twitter. So it's just to be aware of when the application process is going to come around. And they goes to several parts of the province. The RNC does a lot of programs within high schools.
Okay.
So it's just to be aware and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And the RNC, they also can expand more too. They can expand more to go to more high schools, go to different high schools every year, or different parts of the province. But it's
So of all the areas of policing, which is your favorite? What do you like the best?
Right now, as when you graduate, you have to be a part of the street patrol. But I love the street patrol. I can see myself there for years to come.
Okay.
It's when someone calls for help, we're the first one to respond.
Okay.
And that's to be there and help people out there, the vulnerable people, the children, the elder, whatever it may be. To be that first line of contact is definitely great. For someone to say, look at you and say, thank you for doing this for me today, or you made a difference in my life today. It's definitely a great feeling. So I can see myself being a part of Street Patrol for years to come.
Wow. Oh, Javon, that just touches my heart. The fact that you really want to be there, because most times when there's problems, people all run away, but you want to be the one that will go there and be there and help, like.
Yes, nothing good will come easy, and if we're all about, the RNC is all about change, and if the change is going to be a bit rigid, rough, then that's what we got to do. That's what we're here for. So that's no problem. That's the job.
I know, but you're putting yourself on the line because you don't really know what's behind those doors when you show up, or you know, if something is going on, you don't really know.
We'll continue to be safe and just approach every situation with our training and all the assets and the experience behind us as well.
Yes.
And just take it a day at a time.
Okay. And I guess the more that you do it, the more experience you'll get.
That's right, yes.
Right. Well, thank you so much. Wow, you're going to be the greatest constable I've ever met.
I'll try, I'll be a part of a great constabulary for years to come.
That's right, that's right. We really appreciate that.
Among great co-workers and great constables.
Yes,
And that's the best thing.
That's the best, right.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome.
I just want to say that a few years ago when I moved here, I would never imagine that I would be sitting in a seat like this and with Miss Laudetta from sharing our culture, sharing a story. So it's definitely a life-changing for me.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Very much so. Thank you for being here. And welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. I have with me Georgine and Nuna, two young people who are making a difference in our community in St. John's. Welcome to Sharing Our Cultures.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Yes, having us.
Yeah, right. It's been a long time, and so how are things going?
Things are going pretty good.
Okay,
Yes,
good. You survived the COVID-19?
We did.
Yes,
I'm happy about that.
Okay, good. At least some of the restrictions are lifted now. We can actually do things,
Yes,
around. Now, I don't know if you can do much though, Georgine, because you are studying at Mount. What are you doing?
So I'm currently doing my master's in counseling psychology under the education department.
Okay. Yes. And what are you hoping to do when you complete your studies?
So when I'm done, I hope to work in counseling in the community, so one-on-one talk therapy, and of course, always advocate for newcomer youths here in St. John's.
Yeah. which is really important, right? And as I think our population increases and there are more youth from diverse cultural backgrounds, we'll need to have counselors who could be sensitive to their needs and probably be able to identify with the cultures that they are from as well.
Yes, exactly.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Now, Nuna, well, you're so young and you've been around in the community. What do you think are some of the challenges that young people face here?
I think like especially newcomers when you first come, it's language barrier. And I know like I hear a lot of like newcomers, they well, refugees, whenever they come here, they are afraid of applying for jobs because they think that they cannot speak properly.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I love the fact that she's doing the degree that you're doing. So for me it's challenging because like they think their English is not perfect, but I hear them and I understand them, but they just don't have that confidence that they need to really put themselves out there.
Okay. So when you first came here, what were some of the challenges you faced?
The weather was a challenge.
Okay. Okay, that's always a challenge.
Yeah.
You would say that today, though.
No, I can still say that though.
Right.
But I think my challenges was really like, it was mostly with my mom because like understanding the education system here, she didn't really understand that certain things that we were learning in school. So I find like it was hard for me to ask her to help me with my homework or other things as well. So I find like the one of the struggles that we face here is that a lot of the newcomers, their families, cannot give them the help they need, and they think that the school can provide all those help, but that's not necessarily always the case because the school can only do so much.
That's true. And then, of course, where do they go? And yeah,
Exactly.
right. I know, Georgine, at some point, well, you participated in Sharing Our Cultures, but you also worked with us, and you also saw a lot of the difficulties and challenges that newcomer youth were facing in the school.
Yes, definitely. And just to echo what Nuna was saying, I've done a lot of research and I've written a lot of papers about the challenges that newcomers face, especially with career development and getting jobs. So the first thing is the language barrier, as you mentioned, that really hinders youth from pursuing higher education and also from securing good jobs. And I feel like throughout the research, I've noticed that the language barrier coupled with them not understanding the school system, as you mentioned, really leaves them settling for jobs or low-skill jobs that wouldn't equip them for a future. And so I also find that when they are in school, they're not taking the correct courses that will prepare them for higher education.
Yeah, that's true, because sometimes they're streamlined into courses that they won't even get credit for, because I think some of the literacy courses.
Right, yeah. I think the focus is really just graduating as soon as possible, because some youth have to help their parents support their family. So they just want to graduate as soon as possible and find a job, but they don't think long term of going to university or going to trade school, getting the education needed to get better jobs.
Okay. So in addition, though, to the language barriers, how do they fit into the culture here? How do you think they cope with that?
I think how they cope is like, for me, it was really, not for me because I grew up here. So I came here when I was 9. So I was able to understand language as I was, furthering my education here. But I find like a lot of the newcomers who are maybe 16, 17, they tend to click, click, is that the word?
Each other, yeah.
Yes,
to each other.
Yeah.
And even though it's good, it's like they find a community within themselves, which is always a good thing, but it also backfires because they're not learning the proper English they need to further help them like for jobs and stuff like that.
In addition to the language skills that they need, they also need to navigate the culture and,
But I find like because of that community is that they're really comfortable with each other.
Right.
But when you're not together, like how do you, fit into the society that is so different from yours?
Right. That's right. Yeah. And I think when I'm in the schools, I sort of see them in their little groups because that's where they feel comfortable. Though,
it is,
right?
Yeah.
And they could speak their own language. They know that they can understand them because, of course, if they don't have the confidence to speak English, then they're less likely to speak it. But that's what they need. I mean, the instruction is in English, right? They have to interact with the teachers in English as well.
Yeah.
And so that becomes, you know, a barrier for them even completing school, because what happens is that most times they can't have all the credits,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And they're dropping out of school, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my friends did not either like spend a long time in school, or like they just got so frustrated with the school system that they end up like dropping out of high school, and then they struggle throughout life because it's only a high school diploma.
You do, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is important even for the next step, getting into university. And also the other thing I've heard is that young people say, well, there's really no social life. Like there's no, where do they go? I know some of them say to me that I leave school on Friday,
Right.
and I'm home by myself all day till I come back to school on Monday. So what can the community do here to help alleviate that, provide a community, you know, build a community for them?
I would say perhaps more community events that engage youth and engage young people to go out there and meet other people just like them. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And I think, well, some activities, even in school, I
Yes,
think,
yeah.
because they spend so much time in school, but then they don't have something else, you know, after.
Yes.
So do you think also that there is a sense in which they don't feel that they belong or are part of the larger community here? Do you
Oh,
think
definitely.
That's, okay.
Definitely.
So why do you think that is so? And how can we, what are some of the solutions we can think?
Well, I think so because like it's really here, even though like Newfoundland is a very friendly place, it's very hard to for people because everyone here has their own clique, and it's so hard to get into a clique or you know for people to just. Yes, we'll talk to you, but to be friends with people, it's such a hard thing once you're past a certain age, like to make friends.
Okay.
So I think maybe like we should just the click thing, just let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Find new,
Let it
find
go.
new friends,
Yeah,
make
right.
new friends,
Yeah,
be
that's
welcoming.
Right. Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
because you never know what you learn from other people, and people like I love learning different things from different people. So maybe if you have an open mind and open heart, it might work out.
That's right, and yes, and you've volunteered in so many places as well,
Yeah.
and which is also a way to get into the community, to get to know
That's
the
true.
culture here, and of course you were busy during COVID-19, Georgine, making
Yes.
masks.
Yes.
Tell us about that. We'd like to know.
So when the outbreak started, or I guess moved to
Right.
Canada,
Yeah.
I started seeing a lot of mask tutorials online, and I sew. So I thought to myself, I could do this. So I started making masks with just fabric I had at home, and would ask friends or family if they had fabric as well because I couldn't purchase any fabrics. The stores were all closed. So I started making masks, and I felt really bad charging people for it because it just seemed like such a necessity,
Right.
and I didn't want to make profit off of that. So what I started doing is I offered the masks for sale by donation only. And I wanted to be inclusive, so I told the customers that they could pay whatever they wanted to pay. And what I did with the donations is that at first I donated to the Family Food Initiative, which is a food drive through my church that supports the Virginia Park area in St. John's. And then following the Black Lives Matter protests, I started donating to the Black Youth Helpline. And I did that because I wanted to help support the mental health of Black youth. Now, they are based in Ontario, but they do have a toll-free number that serves coast to coast.
Right, well,
Awesome.
that's great. So
Yes.
about how many of these did you make, and how much?
I've made over 200 masks
Wow.
and have donated over $1,500 to combination to both charities.
Wow, that is definitely exciting. That's
Yeah.
great, you know. And so this young people like yourself in the community doing something for the, you know, the benefit of the community as
Yes,
well.
for sure.
So that's great. So what do you see for the province as a future for young people? Now, I know a lot of young people leave the province, right? I'm afraid of asking you, are you going to stay? Don't leave, please, would you? But what do you think will encourage, will attract young people like yourselves to actually stay here in the province?
Jobs.
Okay, all right. First thing is jobs.
Jobs,
Okay,
yeah.
so if you can get jobs here, you'll stay?
Yeah, I think a lot of what university, I find like a lot of university students who I've talked to after university, they find it very difficult to find jobs within your field. So I understand them leaving because you can't get a degree and just work a low-income job that you can't afford your life. So jobs, we need more jobs in the community, in the province.
Okay, that's good. Anything else, Georgina?
For me, I've actually left and returned.
Oh, you're going to tell us why you came back?
Yeah, so when I finished my undergraduate degree in 2010, I moved to Ontario and pursued a different career in fashion styling. And then I recently moved back 2 years ago to pursue further education in counseling. And I think what would keep young people in Newfoundland would be opportunities. So yeah, jobs definitely, and also opportunities to start businesses, opportunities to do research to help change the community for the better.
Wow, yes.
Awesome.
I think we'll be voting for you for the next election. Put your name on the candidate's ballot. Well, thank you so much. It's really been great having you here today. And I think a lot of young people look up to you as mentors, as role models. And we look forward to you staying in the province now, not going anywhere, and contributing to the social, cultural, and economic development of the province as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lededa.
Thank you.
And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Thank you for joining us today as we had conversations with Georgine Wally and Nuna Tue, as well as Constable Javon Coley. Join us again next time on Sharing Our Cultures for the remarkable stories of individuals from around the world who've come to call this place home.